G'day everyone, it's your Uncle Jojo. Great to see you all. Today what we're going to do is we're going to run our fascia board through. If you haven't seen the video on cutting the tails off your rafters with a plumb cut, check that out. Today, this follows on, which is running our fascia board. We make sure all of the ends of our rafters or our rafter tails are nice and straight the whole way through. From there, then we can install our fascia board. One thing we need to take into consideration when running our fascia board is the height of our batten and then the height of our roofing. So we're going to be using corrugated iron on top of a batten system here. Our batten is a 70 by 35 and our corrugated iron that sits on top of the batten has a height of 25 mil. So the top of our fascia needs to be measured at 55 mil. Just as a quick thing, don't forget to put your eye down the fascia and make sure that the bow is facing upwards, because then all we need to do is give it a bit of a tweak and we can get that perfect all the way through. From this 55 mil mark here, I'll mark the other end and then we'll flick our line all the way through, making sure that this is straight. If this isn't straight and there's a slight bow in this, then what I'll do is I'll put my adjustable square on 55 and I'll run that the whole way along here. From there, we check the height of our rafter. We make sure that we've got the remainder of the height of our rafter with a plumb cut, because the rafter itself is a different height at the plumb cut. These rafters are 140 this way, but on a plumb cut, they're going to be a little bit longer because it's going to be cut on a slight angle. What we need here remaining from the top of our line to the top of our groove for where our eave sheet goes in is 144, but what we've got is 142. So what I'll do is I'll adjust it and drop the top edge down a couple of mil, which we won't see because we'll have an end cap over the top for the roofing, and I'll make sure that this line here is equal to the bottom of our rafter here. So then our eave sheet can run across here and straight into this groove. Before installing your fascia, try and make sure that the ends are always painted. That stops any moisture getting to the end grain and then obviously rotting through. I have a video on painting the end grain on old weatherboards versus new weatherboards. So check that out. It's super important that you always seal the ends of your grain. You'll notice that I drilled and screwed the ends of my fascia in. That stops any twisting of the fascia. The screws we put in are just slightly beneath the surface. That way we make sure that we pull the timber against the rafter, and at the same time we can feel those quite easily and paint that up later on. Sometimes nowadays, because timber is quite young, it ends up reacting to the elements pretty badly. So by screwing one top, one bottom of the rafter, it stops any of the ability for the timber to pull out and to bow and twist. Another quick trick that you can do if you don't have a second set of hands is to put a nail in every second rafter on that line that we flicked before. And then what you can do is drop the fascia down onto those nails, and then you know it's nice and level. It'll hold it only temporarily whilst you position it, and then you can just put in a few nails all the way. Now what I'll do is I'll put my eye down that, make sure it's nice and straight all the way through and there's no bow in the actual fascia whatsoever. Then from there, if there is any snake, I'll just tap these out and put a packer on the side of it and make sure it's fixed into that, or unscrew and then stick a packer inside it. If you looked at the video on cutting off the ends of the rafters, you saw that we flicked those lines all the way through, so it's nice and straight. You can also just run a string line and then plumb down from that. That then makes this job much easier. Remember the 7 P's? Proper planning and preparation prevents poor performance. Always a good way of doing it. Prepare properly and plan it properly. That's our fascia install. Any questions or queries about that, flick them over. Happy to have a look at them for you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay unreal, banana peel, and I'll see you in the suit.